Coordinate geometry. Okay, I hope you guys copied this down. We need to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines because it's going to help us prove several things. And we're going to look at slopes on these. When we're talking about parallel lines, we're going to talk about parallelograms. So rhombus, square, rectangle, parallelogram, and at least one pair for trapezoid. Perpendicular lines help us determine whether it goes further, whether it's a square, a rectangle, whether the diagonals are perpendicular for a rhombus or kite. So we want to be able to look at these and just identify between the slopes between points. So we're going to kind of skip this. If they're parallel, the slopes are the same. And this comes back to looking at systems. If the slopes are the same, we're good. They're parallel. They're never going to intersect. If they are perpendicular, we're going to look at the opposite reciprocal, opposite flipped. So this is all we're going to do today. We're not going to spend too much time on it. My first period was like, can we get a test on this, Mr. Aguilar? Can we get a test? It's too easy. But it should be easy. My third period?
Your first period?
No, third period. Sorry, third period. Want to say first period? Yeah, first period's pre-com. Yeah. So happens. Yeah, it's pretty. My third period had a rough average. Had a rough average. A lot. For most talkative classes, just put it that way. CJ. Ask him. Ask CJ. He'll tell you. Very talkative. Yeah. Very talkative. Good kid. Good kid. Okay. So you guys copy those down, right? Okay. And we're going to go ahead and just jump right into this. We want to be able to look at if they have the same slope, they're parallel. If they're opposite flip, they're perpendicular. If they are just two slopes that are different, they're intersecting. They intersect at one point. So here we go. Boom. Let's look at these two, or these three. Just starting out with slopes. Can we determine what the slopes are between all these? Yeah, we should be, right? Let's look at, give me a second. Cancel that on me, man. Let's reset. So, do me a quick favor. Tell me what the slope of the first graph is. Write it down in that slope part. So we're going to look at this. We always talk about y's over x's, so we got to be able to determine that. My y's would be going up 2. My x's would be going over 2. So if I had to do this, what's my slope? 2 over 2. Can that be reduced? To 1 over 1. We'll keep it as a fraction just so we can have the x over y's, or the y's over x's, sorry. And so my slope is going to be 1 over 1. If I wanted to find a slope that was parallel to it, what would I write down for it to be parallel? Not parallel. Look at your notes. What does it say on the top? If they're parallel, they're going to be what? The same. So we're just going to write 1 over 1. Yes, it's that simple. Don't let it get confusing. If we're looking at two parallel slopes, it's going to be written the same way. If we're looking at the perpendicular, let's look at the opposite. What's opposite to positive? Negative. What's opposite to, or what's flipped? What's 1 over 1 flipped? 1 over 1. Done. That's it. We're going to look at more complex ones, but it's not going to be by too much. Don't freak out. Okay, so if they're the same slope and they're parallel, we write down the same exact thing. If we're looking for perpendicular, it's going to be the opposite flipped. Let's look at the next slope here. I'm going to do these two. What is my slope for the next one? Down 2 over 4. So my slope was going to be negative 2 over 4, which is going to be negative 1/2. I'm going to write negative 1/2 in there. What would be a slope that would be parallel? Negative 1/2. It's the same thing. We don't change it. We're golden, man. What about perpendicular? What's opposite to negative? What is it flipped? 2. That's it. That is all we're doing today. I know. Crazy. Our last one here. Last one. Going down -1 over 3. My slope is -1/3. Can't really change it. I want to reduce it, so we're going to leave it that way. So -1/3. What would make it parallel? -1/3. What would be its opposite flipped? +3/1 or just 3. Whichever way works for you. Is this hard today? It's hard, huh? It's super hard? Muy difícil. It's fácil is easy, right? Fácil. Se habla español. Okay, here we go. Next one. We're going to kind of skip that because you guys can do that. We're okay. Oh. Okay. Next one. We're just going to look at slopes, and I want you to help me determine whether they are opposites, or sorry, perpendicular, parallel, or neither, or none. In this case, it would be intersecting. So, looking at slope 1 and 2, slope 1 is 5/11. Is it the same as slope 2? So it's definitely not parallel. Is it its opposite flipped? So what would it be? Perpetrator. Perpendicular. There's a little symbol in there so you guys get used to it. Symbolism, man. Symbolism. Oh, no, that's English. Whatever. That's symbolism. What about number 2? Perpendicular, it's opposite flipped. What? What about 3? Neither. Is it its flipped? Yes, but it's not its opposite. Okay, this would be none. None or neither. What? Number 4. Absolute value? Absolute. It's doing the opposite. It was negative. Yeah, it would make it positive. So it's not its opposite. Absolute. Yeah. What do we got? First of all, is it opposites? Yeah. Yeah, it's opposites. But is it flipped? So it's not perpendicular. Are they the same? But are they? -6 and 6 are the same? No. So it's not parallel, so it has to be no. Cool beans? Easy enough? Super difficult day today? I know. Okay, copy down this one. I believe my other students were saying that this is not negative. Make sure that one's negative on your guys' paper. Make sure it's negative. I don't know why I didn't print it out. For 9 and 10 as well? No, just that one. Just the first one. Just number 7. It's number 7. Just make it negative. What about number 7? What do we got? Perp. Opposite flipped. What about number 5 or 8? Parallel. Parallel symbol is with 2 vertical lines like that. Perpendicular symbol is an upside down T. Because I made a bigger. What about number 9? Neither. Right? Opposite flipped. Last one? None. It's flipped, but it's not its opposite. So we got to have both criteria for it to work. Easy or hard? If we can get this, coordinate geometry will be, this is half the battle. If you're going to be able to tell me the slope between 2 lines and tell me whether they're parallel or perpendicular, you're good. You're good. That's what I want you guys to see. It would be helpful if you guys don't have them to start getting colored pencils or markers. I can bust out crayons for you guys as well. I'll have a bunch of set out there for you guys as well. So when we start going to more proof side, it's important that we have those, not just because it's like super colorful when we're in elementary school, but just color coordination definitely helps out with this. Okay. No, I was never in preschool. Maybe preschool. Okay. Parallel. It says find the slope of the line parallel to each given line. So we're just looking for the slope that would make it parallel. Now these are going to be going by really fast. So we got to be able to identify, for number one, what is my slope for number one? 3/2. What would make it parallel then? 3/2. Cool beans, Buttercup. Cool beans. Okay. What do we got for number two? What's our slope? 1/5. Super easy. What would make it parallel? It's the same thing, right? Cool blue, Magoo. Here we go. Next one, what do we have? -9/4. What would make it parallel? I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Okay. Number 4 might be a little bit tricky. Hopefully you guys can get it. What is my slope for number 4? -1/1, or just -1 I'm okay with. What would make it parallel? Cool beans. Here we go. Last one. Let me change up the color. What color should I use? Pink? Pink. I like pink. I haven't used pink in a while. I have 7/2. Say -7/2. That's fine. That's right. Would be -7/2. I'll pull up the clouds like we used to do in elementary. There you go. You're welcome. Put happy faces everywhere. Good job. Okay. I'll give you check plus. Is that what they do back in the elementary? Check plus plus. You're really cool if you got that. Yeah. Okay. What do you think we're going to do with this next one? Opposite flipped. We're going to do the opposite flip. So looking at number 6, what is our slope for number 6? -1. What is its reciprocal? What is its perpendicular slope? So it's its opposite flipped. Opposite would be positive. Positive would be just 1. You guys are like really good at this. What's my slope for number 7? -1/2. What would make it perpendicular? 2/1, or just 2. I'm okay with that. We're cool, bro. We're cool. 8. 1/2, so it's -2/1. Oh no. No, it's like it's like a trial version until you want the good version. I'm on a free trial for like the next 10 years. 3/4. -4/3. I don't know why I always change up my 4s. Look at this. Have you ever noticed? Look at my 4 is done this way, and then my 4 is done this way. Why? I do not know. Why do I change it up so often? I don't know. It's kind of like writing your A's like this, and then converting them into this. I do it all the time. I'm like, 4, come on, man. Come on, 4. Okay, sorry. It's weird. Yeah, like 7s with this and 7. I try to do it this way. Sorry. We're getting too far off topic. We're way too far off topic. Penmanship. My daddy used to make me cry when I was little. Because I used to write horrible. Horrible. I can see why. 2/5? It happens. It happens. Okay. Easy or hard? Okay. I want to introduce only one thing to you guys as we're going to do just one problem with this. I'm not going to give you any homework on this. That's going to come tomorrow. But I want to just do one because we still got plenty of time and today's homework is going to take you about a minute to do. Okay? Here we go. Now, we're able to find parallel and perpendicular lines. So we've got to be able to add something to this. So here we go. Writing equations of parallel lines. Okay? It's a small little box here, right? I'm hoping you guys can write really small. But do me a favor, copy that down. Now the question that is proposed to us is it says, the line parallel to y equals 5x plus 1, that it passes through this point. So if I had to give you just a small picture, you do not have to draw this. I just want to give you a visual representation. This is going to be in the corner. So let's say my line is here. And let's say my point, so this is my line here, and let's say the point is here. We want to find a line that is parallel to that point, that goes to that point. So we have to introduce something to this. It's very simple, very easy. We're just going to do it. The same thing processes the same way. This is where it starts up a little bit more tricky. Not by much, because all you're doing is really plugging in. Not hard, we're solving for B. Okay. Our first step is to either find the parallel or perpendicular slope to it. We're going to plug our slope that we just found out and one of the points into y equals mx plus b, and then we're going to solve for b and plug back into the equation. So we're going to use like substitution twice. Don't freak out. We're going to do more problems. I got you. Hold your hand. I won't feed you like a baby bird, but I can hold on to your hand. Yeah. Throw up. I got blender right there. Just blender. No, I'm gonna pass on that. Steak should not be blended. Like steak should never be eaten with ketchup. My sister-in-law did it, and it grossed me out. I couldn't eat my food. I was like, Stephanie, you need to go away. She's like, why? I was like, that is probably the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Oh. See, my wife does. My wife is like, my wife does it with ketchup. My wife does it with ketchup. Oh, all about it. All about it. Tamales with sour cream, delish. Delish. Right? It's right around the corner, too. Right around the corner. That's what I'm waiting for, man. Waiting for it. Waiting for it. My wife and I are making like 12 dozen freaking tamales this year. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay. So here we go. Let's do this really quick so we can finish up. Y is equal to 5x plus 1. Now, in order for us to find the parallel line, what would be the parallel slope to this? 5. It's the same.
What are we doing? You said perpendicular.
No, it said parallel. Okay. Now we have this equation now. We're going to go ahead and choose one of our points. So we're going to choose our point here. And we're going to plug it into y equals mx plus b. So we're going to bring this down. And we're going to plug this into y equals mx plus b. So we're going to plug both of these in there. We're going to get, bear with me. Let me write this out. Y is equal to mx plus b. And we're going to plug in our x and y. So we're going to get 2 is equal to 5x. Sorry, my x is going to be -1 plus b. So really what we're doing is we're plugging in our m, our x, and our y. And we're solving for b here. Okay, we're trying to find another equation that is parallel to that line using that point. So what is 2 times -1? -5, thank you. Adding 5 to both sides. I know. We're going to get 7 is equal to b. Okay, all we're trying to do is we're using our old equation. We're using the slope that is parallel to it. We're going to plug it in, and we're going to solve out. We're going to join this all together, and we're going to do way more than this because I'm not going to give you guys time on this. Y is going to be equal to, what's my parallel slope? 5x. What's my b now? So this is parallel to this. Using okay, this is our main answer. But I'm gonna talk about more of that tomorrow when we do this. So that's it.